Hi, everyone. Um, I wanted to talk about something that people don't really talk about, um, and that's abuse. I've never made, a video like this before, so bear with me. Um, I'm gonna talk about my experience with relationship abuse. Um, was it physical? Sometimes. Does that matter? No. Abuse can be emotional, physical, sexual, anything. And it can come from literally anybody in your life. I guess, nobody really talks about the emotional abuse. Nobody really knows what that is. I didn't until it happened. And I looked it up and things just clicked, I guess I'll start from the beginning. I met this guy. His name is Jason. I have no reason to hide his identity. But I met this guy. His name was Jason. He was a year younger than me. I guess a year below me, not really a year younger. And I was a sophomore in high school, and he was a freshman. And in high school, I was already in a very vulnerable state. My dad was terminally ill, and I was just having a really hard time with that. I had been diagnosed with depression in 8th grade, and my depression had escalated to the point where I was self-harming, and I was extremely impulsive, and I just did whatever the fuck I wanted to because nothing mattered anymore. So, I was already struggling with my own demons, and he was struggling with his. In high school, he didn't tell me much about his home life. I knew that he got drunk on a regular basis, or so he said. He was a pathological liar. But I knew that he got drunk a lot and got high a lot, and that he would sleep outside, or that's what he told me. So, me being me, he was troubled, and I thought I could fix him. Well, like I said earlier, I was very impulsive and just wanted to do what the fuck ever I wanted. And I don't know if I suppose it was before that. Me and Jason were together for a little bit. And we were in the hallway one day, and in the middle of class change, so everybody was in the hallway, and he puts his hand up my shirt and grabs my boob, and that, I felt very violated. I didn't tell him he could do that. There was no reason for him to do that. I literally just walked up to him and said, hey, and he did it. So I ended things with him. then. And I guess a few days later, a week or so later, it was coming up on my birthday. I think maybe I'd already had it. I think I ran away on the 10th of May, and my birthday is the 8th of May. And so I decided, to run away. Sorry, spoiler alert, whatever. Decided to run away. And I had told some people, already told them, hey, you may not see me after this. I was telling people that I was moving. And that they may not see me for, anymore. But, somebody had told him, and he came up to me before school was over and said, hey, whatever you're doing, I want to come with you. And I was like, what the fuck ever, whatever. And at first I told him no, that I didn't want him around, that I didn't want to run away with anybody. I just wanted to go alone. But he went with me. And of course, we didn't get very far. I ended up, it was very, very cold and wet, and I was freezing. And I ended up, he wasn't going to let me originally, but I ended up calling my mom to come and get me. Of course, she was worried and frantic, and they had been out all night looking for me, and it was like 3 a.m, and, So he was very upset with me that I had called my mom, called somebody. And, so his mom comes and picks us up and takes us to a gas station, which my mom said, oh no, I'm not going to bring the police. I wanted to stay under the table, which she was lying because she wanted us to get in trouble. But, we had to learn our lesson somehow. But anyway, at the gas station, we were put in handcuffs and shackles and loaded into the back of a cop car and taken to the detention center, the juvenile detention center. And we stayed there overnight. While I was there, the admittance lady, I don't know, she had to chart all of my scars and wounds, and she couldn't chart them all because I had so many. But she had called my parents after seeing some of the fresher ones. She had called my parents and told them, I guess my mom, because my dad was sick, he had a brain disease, so he didn't really understand what was happening. But called my mom and told her, that I'd been cutting myself again. And they put me in suicide watch in the suicide watch room so they could keep an eye on me. I slept all that night. They woke me up to give me my antidepressants and stuff in the morning. And after that, I slept more until it was time to go to court. So we are handcuffed and shackled again and sent to the courthouse. And in a stupid, juvenile way, it was almost romantic for me and him. Honestly, I didn't really give a shit, to be honest. I don't know, I just didn't care. But anyway, I was sentenced to house arrest until I was 18 years of age. And I think I was 16 then, 16. So it's gonna be a very long time. Or so I thought. It wasn't really that long. During that time, I had to quit band. I was in band. I had to quit band for the year because, Mom couldn't be with me. See, when you're on house arrest, you have to have your parent or some other approved guardian by your parent to be with you at all times. You can't be by yourself, even with teachers. It has to be a family member. So nobody had the time because my sister had to work. Mom had to take care of Dad. So there was no way that she could watch me, I guess, supervise me. So I had to quit band. My sister got me a job not long after because she thought it would teach me responsibility and respect. And honestly, I am very happy that she did that because, I don't know, it helped me a lot. It helped me to get out of the house, away from my sick and dying father. It just helped me get out in a way for the weekend. And, I was around animals. I was working at the vet clinic with her, so I was around animals, and that helped. I'm sorry, I'm kind of going off on tangents. We're supposed to be talking about abuse. Anyways, I didn't see him anymore after that. Unbeknownst to me, he was involved in a plot to shoot up the school that I was attending. And even then, he made it into some romantic thing, I wasn't really in on it, and if, whoever, my buddy or whoever it was, decided to actually shoot up the school, you'd be the first one I would save, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, fast forward, God, I don't know how many years. Fast forward to 2015. I was 18 years old. My father had passed away that year in April. It was already a really rough year. I had signed up for Tennessee Promise. So I had to go to college after high school or I would lose that opportunity. So I went to college. I was going to college. I was failing college because when Dad passed and I turned 18, we lost most of our financial income. We lost his disability, and we lost my Social Security check from when I was, under 18 or whatever. So Mom, with just her disability, she couldn't afford the house payments, so we had to move as well. But going to college, and he had, I was messaging somebody from school, and they said, oh, Jason's back or whatever. Not in school or whatever, but he's out from being sent off or whatever. Which I kind of knew why he was sent off, but not really. But I was like, I don't know. I guess I still had feelings for him. I don't know. So I messaged him and I was just like, hey, what happened? And he was telling me, and that it was all a big misunderstanding, and that he had spent 6 months in jail because his buddy had wrote his name in a notebook that detailed how they were going to shoot up the school. Okay, whatever, my mind was boggled the fuck at that point. My dad just passed, I was failing school, I was moving. Okay, whatever. So, and then he was like, I did ever think that you would talk to me ever again. And I was just like, well, here I am. But we hit it off and we got back together. And I went over to his house for the first time. And I remember this vividly. This was probably the first, well, not really the first, but a major red flag. I come over to his house. His house is this shitty old ass trailer, right? In this trailer park, this tiny ass trailer park. There's holes in the floor, like the floor is falling through. There's holes in the walls where he had punched holes in the walls, and where his stepdad had punched holes in the walls. Anyway, go to his room, and he asked, he's like, do you want to play a game, like a video game? Do you want to play a video game together? And I was like, sure. I'd never really had like a video game console, so I never really knew. I didn't know what I was doing. And of course, I'd never played the game that we were playing either. And I forget what it's called now, but we were playing it, and I kept like messing up. Like, it was a one player, but he was watching me play it. And I kept like messing up or whatever. And instead of like telling me what I was doing wrong or how I could do it better or whatever, he yelled at me and called me names, like dumb bitch and stuff like that. And I was just like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you being so mean right now? And he said, oh, I'm sorry. That's just how me and my dad used to talk to each other when we would play games. And my dad was really abusive, so we just used to call each other names and stuff. And I was just like, okay, but don't do it to me, because I'm not your dad. And he was just like, okay, whatever, sorry, I didn't mean to, whatever. And I was still upset over my dad passing. And a few times that I was over there, something would remind me of my dad. Like, he played a song and it reminded me of my dad, and I cried. And the first few times, he was consoling. It was like, it's okay, And then I remember one day, he told me, I was crying about my dad, and I told him, I don't know, I apologize when I cry. I don't know. But I told him, I'm sorry for crying, I didn't mean to. And he said, you should really be over your father's death by now. He's been gone for X amount of months. You should really, you need to start getting over it. You need to start moving on. And I was just like, why would you say that to me? And it upset me a lot. But he would always come up with like ways to manipulate me into thinking like, oh no, I meant it this way. I didn't mean it so harshly. I know it came out that way, but I didn't mean it that way. So, oh, okay, And I don't remember our first fight. Actually, yes, I do. I do remember our first fight. He was like showing me something on his phone, and a girl's chat bubble popped up, and the things the girl was saying was very sexual, And I was like, hey, what is that about? I was obviously angry. I was like, who is this? And what have you guys been talking about? And he admitted to me that, he flirts with a lot of girls. He admitted it and was like, that's just how I talk. That's just that's just how I talk. I don't really mean it and stuff like that. But I was very angry and I got very mad at him. But he was like, you know what? I'll delete them if you want. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Just, why are you doing this? But anyway, after that, things just got a lot worse. When I was little, I was sexually assaulted by somebody for 3 years. And it really messed me up, I guess. And I had problems, being intimate with people. So I had problems being intimate with him. And, I told him what happened to me. Because, I was just saying, I'm dealing with this. This is why, I'm not very comfortable with being intimate. And, he consoled me. And I suppose now it was fake anger. But got angry at whoever did that to me or whatever. But it got worse. He would guilt me into having sex with him. I would say no. I would say no a lot. And he would be all like, well, it feels like you don't really love me. It feels like you don't care about what I want. I have needs and I have feelings too, and it's like you don't care about those. It would just make me feel like a really shitty human being. And I'm gonna tell you right now that if you say no to somebody, but you end up having sex anyway, and it hurts, that's your body telling you that you did not consent, that you did not want this. No matter how many times somebody's gonna sit there and tell you that, well, you did it anyway, so you apparently wanted it. No. Okay? No means no. And stop means stop. And then one day, I got fed up with it. I was at I already told him no. But of course, he guilted me into it. And I was naked, and I was sitting on his bed, and I told him, stop. I don't want to do this. I really don't. I don't want to do this. And I remember this so clearly. got up and he had this, like, look of hate in his eyes. And he lit a cigarette and he looked at me and he said, "I will make you guilty enough to fuck me." And I just sat there and I cried. And he walked out of the room. I went home that day. And I thought about it. And I texted him and I said, "Don't ever say that to me again." And he said, "Oh, I don't remember saying that to you. I didn't say that to you." And I said, "Yes, you did. I remember. Like, I was there. You said that to me." And he said, "No, I didn't. Like, stop putting words in my mouth. I didn't say that." I just let it go. He said, "Sorry for saying, something I didn't say, whatever." And I just let it go. I wasn't gonna fight it. And I don't know why I let it go. All these things, like, thinking back on this, all these things, all these red flags, these major things. And it's just, why didn't I leave sooner? Why did I not listen to myself? Listen to my own intuition, my own gut? Why didn't I listen to the words he was saying to me? I don't know. I think that was the first time I left him. It just kept continuing and I couldn't handle it. I couldn't. Not with my other trauma so prevalent. I couldn't. So I left him. And I was a complete wreck. A complete wreck. I didn't know what to do with myself. It was always him, 24/7, 24/7, every day of my life. Him. I didn't get any breaks. I didn't get to do what I wanted. I didn't get to like what I wanted. He didn't like my friends, so I didn't get to hang out with them. He wanted me to message him every second of every day, and if I didn't, he would make me feel guilty for it. Like, "Oh, I was, what if something happened and, I was scared. I thought something happened to you and because you weren't replying and blah, 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 blah." It's like, it takes 2 seconds to say BRB. He would blow up my phone. He would call me, text me, hundreds and hundreds of times in a span of minutes. Absolutely blowing up my phone. And I hadn't replied. It was just because I hadn't replied in maybe like 5 minutes. He would blow up my phone. So everything I did was to make him happy. So I was very, very, very lost. I didn't have anybody to talk to because I'd pushed my friends away. But, they came back. And I started talking to them and hanging out with them. And people would bring it to my attention that he was dating somebody new, or he was doing drugs or something. And to be honest, I was jealous. Because, and why I was jealous, I don't know. I shouldn't have been. Maybe because I was so brainwashed and my whole life revolved around him and his happiness and, not upsetting him, that, I don't know, Stockholm Syndrome? Maybe. Probably. I don't know. But I found out, I started talking to him again a little bit. I found out that he had been with this one girl, and she was a pillhead, and he had been doing pills with her until one day they went to go steal a TV, or she went to go steal a TV, and he was riding with her, and she passed out at the wheel, and he punched her in the head, which, another red flag, punched her in the head to wake her up so she didn't wreck. And, okay, that's, I don't know, that was a red flag, but whoosh, I guess. Anyway, so I started talking to him again, and he kept saying that he was scared to get back with me. That he was scared to get back with me because I had left him and